Hi there, English 232. We are on week 3, and what a week it's been. I don't know about you guys, but I did not have electricity all weekend, which means I didn't have internet. So I'm still going to be looking at those notebook practice thinking logs that you guys posted since I couldn't do it all weekend. So I'll be slowly going through those. So expect some feedback toward the end of the week so that you guys have plenty of time to make changes before week's 4 test. Taking a look at what we have on week 3 this week. Now, notice Bob's using the chat on a document. If you see me pop up on a document up here, you're more than welcome just to hit the chat feature and ask me a question. But notice for week 3 here, notice how each week has readings and homework to prepare for next class. So I think about these as like, I try to divide them into chunks for you. So for instance, this chunk you could do or this chunk you could do one day during the week, and then this chunk you could do later. So I just try to chunk it for you. But in terms of weeks on your log, I don't really care if it's in the right week as long as it's all done. But week 3's focus is African Americans in the Antebellum South, which is all of these guys right here. So every week I try to highlight which literature we're on. The next thing I want you to notice is this week's vocabulary. Again, for very specific, detailed definitions, please see the study material, which is, let me switch to students so you don't get confused. Please notice the glossary of lit terms, but I'll talk about them in a general sense here on our video, excuse me. Okay, so in your thinking log, so this week will be week 3, and you will be talking about all of these guys. So we have Gooford Grapevine, Up from Slavery, Souls of Black Folk, and Antebellum Sermon. So this week will be week 3. Okay. All right, so there's week 3. So our discussion question for this week is you will be practicing with group roles. So I've given you group roles. So you're going to do them as if you're your own group. So you're not working with anyone else. Don't email anybody in class. We haven't gotten to that yet. But you'll be practicing each of these. So notice you've got this week 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice you should be able to get practice with pretty much all of them because you have a summarizer, a vocabulary verifier, a critical connector, ancient analyzer, and discussion director. We'll be using these throughout the class so that everybody can have a chance to work with each other. Now, in working with a group, okay, this is not where you have to meet in a physical location. You do not have to meet at the same time. This is everyone collaborating on a chart or a graph about a story. So you do not need to talk on the phone. You can email back and forth. You can use Google Drive. I'll talk about all those week 4. So don't automatically make up your mind that you're going to hate group work. It's not going to hinder your schedule in any way because I know you guys are super, super busy. So you're just going to practice with those. So what you're going to do is, you basically just can put in group work. And so then here, I'm going to do Gooford Grapevine. Okay. So I might decide for Gooford Grapevine, I'm going to do critical connector. And notice for this, I did Cinderella because the summarizing stimulator basically provides a 1 to 2 minute statement that covers key points. So the key points of Cinderella would be her father dies, leaving her to the abuse and neglect of her stepmother and 2 stepsisters. They think she's committed to them forever until she sneaks away to the ball with the help of her fairy godmother. Despite the sisters' interference, the prince finds her through the use of her abandoned glass slipper. So that is the overview. Now, the summarizer gives the summary of the story and then would summarize the conclusions later. So you would be the first and the last to contribute to the document. Okay. So the 1 to 2 sentence statement, right, summarizing the conclusions, is that the oppressed should not give up hope in finding the oppressors. Okay, so that's essentially what my group finds out. So that would be the end. I'll come back to it. So the next thing would be the vocabulary verifier. So this is where you look at words that stand out or things that are very, very unique. This is where you would use your literary words. So For instance, glass slipper. Why is it glass? Why is it see-through? So it might be a symbol. Okay. So it's a symbol for Cinderella's purity and clarity of heart. She always does the right thing. She can always see things clearly. She's never really confused. Okay. The next thing is the critical connector. You're finding connections between the book or text that your group is reading and the outside world. So this is where you might look at historical events, social issues. So I looked at when Cinderella was written, and I'm taking the Disney version, and it was written by Perrault, and it's from 1800s France. I think about Napoleon and how he was an emperor, and how maybe Perrault wrote the story to kind of reflect how Napoleon was treating people. So the stepmother could be a symbol for Napoleon. Then you have an ancient analyzer. So you look for patterns or archetypes, so things like the Bible, Greek and Roman gods. If you're not sure about some of those, like it's been a while, you can always go up here and just look at, some of the Greek and Roman gods, some of the biblical allusions, those sorts of things. Because an allusion, and it's one of your words this week, is just a reference to another text or event. Okay, that's all an allusion is. All right, so I might think about the sisters and the mom. It's 3 of them, so I think about the sirens in Greek culture. Maybe Mary Magdalene as a sidekick, and she was widely criticized. So maybe I could compare Cinderella to Mary Magdalene in thinking about French and France, and France being a Christian nation. So discussion director would be questions that people could answer. Why didn't Cinderella run away? Why didn't Cinderella get her dad's land? Why didn't she just get married? So this will help us understand the text. So based on everything that we talk about, then we come back to the summarizing stimulator, and they say, okay, based on everything that everybody typed up, this is what we should conclude about the story. So Cinderella, because of all these symbols, all these references, should never give up hope in fighting her oppressors, because remember, the sirens were oppressors, and Odysseus got through the sirens. Mary Magdalene, despite a lot of people criticizing her, came out on top. Even though Napoleon was a horrible ruler, France came out okay. And maybe that's why Cinderella did not run away, is because she somehow knew that it was going to happen. So that's the overview of sort of your assignment this week. So for Gooford Grapevine, I might do vocabulary verifier and look for some symbols. So what could a grapevine represent? So grapevine is a symbol of prosperity and success, perhaps. Okay. What else could a grapevine symbolize? I mean, you could, sort of think in your head yourself, or you could also, go online and look up grapevine as a symbol. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Everybody's at a different place. Okay. So that might be something you bring up. So you would do 1 entry for each story. Okay. So Up From Slavery, Booker T. Washington's, that's Up From Slavery, but Du Bois, Paul Laurence Dunbar, whoever you want to do for each one of these. Just try to practice all of them. So that's your task this week for your logs. Okay. And then we have you're being assigned your first project, which will be due in a couple weeks, in 3 weeks. And then you have some supplemental material for the next section. And for this section as well. So here are some review quizzes just to make sure. Supplemental means extra, so you do what you want. Regardless, we did not read the yellow wallpaper. We didn't end up reading that, but regardless. And we did not end up reading Joel Chandler Harris, but he's kind of important because he was one of the first to record African American folk tales. And so he's kind of like a sociologist in some people's eyes. So, but those are there. So our project number 1, our archetypal poster, what you're going to do is you're going to develop a poster presentation, and you're going to have a 15 sentence paragraph to accompany it about an archetype, motif, or character pattern, which we've talked a lot about. Okay. You will sign up on this sheet. Okay. And what you do is up to you. You're going to find photos, quotes, lines from literature, children's books, history, because what you're talking about is what makes the archetype an archetype. Okay, so what are its essentials? What do you have to have in order for instance, a damsel in distress to be a damsel in distress? Are there any divergences? So how do different societies reveal a damsel in distress? And then basically help us understand human culture. So how do these archetypes help us understand all these cultures? So I developed a list of children's books from the library. Or if you have a kid at home or a niece or whatever, you can grab one of their children's books, probably has tons of symbols. Any of the literature that we've read. Use the Archetypal Explanations website as a start. If you know of someone else, you'll put it on the sign-up sheet. For images, try Library of Congress or Creative Commons. Just be careful with the images that you get. So I'm expecting at least 3 pictures or images. You'll just need a brief sort of caption on that picture or image, just one sentence telling me how it reveals something about that archetype. Okay. On the poster will be quotes, information that links all these people, citations. You'll need at least 3 different texts, but you can have 5 total. So if you want to do Gooford Grapevine, a children's story, and then you might have watched a movie. Okay, whatever. Text can be movies, text can be any kind of story or novel that you've ever read, whatever. And here are some places that you can create your poster. So Padlet, TAC, Piktochart, or Lucid. Now, you will write a paragraph that explains your poster. So your poster needs to be highly visual. Okay, your paragraph should not be on your poster. Okay, from an online class, we'll do a gallery walk on VoiceThread. From a face-to-face class, we'll do it in class. Okay, keep up with what you use, your text, your photos. I'll have a link. For some reason, my link went away, but I'll have a link to help you cite your photos or images, because you do cite photos or images. Citing them is not google.com. Just because you got them at Google doesn't mean that's where they're housed. So I will have a link for you to tell where you got your photos from. But when you do go to, for instance, Creative Commons uses Google a lot. So here's Creative Commons. So I'm going to search for a bridge. For instance, I want to do Owl Creek, and I'm going to talk about the bridge as an archetypal symbol. Okay, so here's some stuff that they found. Okay, let's see. Let's just try bridge. Land bridges. Let's do a land bridge. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted like a, let's see, bridges by country. Let's see what other countries have. Bridges in Finland. Let's see what a bridge looks like in Finland. Okay. All right, cool. Here are bunches of bridges. Okay. So notice this is, oh, there's a cool one. Okay. So notice this is a bridge. So, I want to talk about the bridge. So notice this is where I got it. Wikipedia, or Wikimedia rather. That was where I got it. So if I go back a ways to Creative Commons, I can just search Google and search bridge. Now Google's just like a store. So when you ask like who made this t-shirt, you don't say Walmart, right? You might say Hanes, okay? So Google is just a place where you find it. It's not who actually created it. So anyway, so you go over here to images. And these are bridge images. Notice there are websites on them, okay? The website would be where you got it from, okay? So it wouldn't be Google. I should not see Google on anybody's page. So that's your first project. So that's something that you need to continue to work on over the next couple weeks. I'll be checking in every once in a while just to see how you're doing. But there's some great examples up here. There's a character traits worksheet if you want to do a character archetype. But on that form, and you can do a person or you can do a place. I've had people do weather events like snow. So there are lots of archetypes. And I'll put a couple of lists up there from other people. Notice here's the sun, the sea, rivers, colors. You could do a color archetype. The wise old man, the garden. I mean, think Garden of Eden. So those are all available to you, and it's not right or wrong. You just choose the one you like. So regardless, there's a little intro to that. And just keep trucking along, keep asking questions, keep using that study material. You've got a few vocabulary this week that you really need to think about. Point of view is another big one. Think about omniscient, limited, and unlimited. So from what point of view is the story written? Is the character involved? The person who's telling the story? Is the person godlike? Those are things you need to know. Diction is just the use of words. Denotation is the dictionary definition of a word, and then you have connotation, which is the social meaning of the word. So, for instance, the word gossip, we think it's very negative, even though it just means talk. We talked about illusion. Conflict's really important, internal and external conflict. So is the conflict in the story man-made? Is it something that I did? Am I confused about my identity, or is it an external conflict, like another human fighting against me? Is it, is my conflict social norms? Is it a social entity? Or is it natural? Is it nature? So those are things that you need to think about as well. So keep trucking along. You guys have great questions. Most of you guys are doing great work. The best advice I can give you is just to continue to try things. And once you try it, I'll be able to help you with it. So again, my virtual office hours, I've had a couple people. So Josh met with me. Jim Brannon met with me. Bob just asked me some questions on chat. I'm pretty open and available. But if you want to talk via video, and Megan met with me too. My virtual office hours are Tuesdays from 7:30 to around 9:30. It usually ends up being 9-ish. But regardless, if I'm in my email and you see me over here and I'm green, that means I'm online, so you're more than welcome. And then on Thursdays, I don't typically hover. I usually get on around 7:45, 8 o'clock. Sometimes I'll stay on till 10. Sometimes, I'll have students come in and I'll have to meet with them. But regardless, if you'll just send me a chat and say, hey, can I get on for a virtual meeting? We'll meet at that link right here. And it'll pop right up. It's super easy. And you can even have it on your phone if you wanted to. So you just hit join, and a lot of times I'll already be there. If not, you can join and then send me a message and say, hey, will you join me for chat on Google Hangouts? So super easy if you're the type that likes to talk and wants some interaction. So as you have questions, please just let me know. Let me help you out. If you have not started reading the novel, I'm going to assign it week 4, but if you know that you just hate to read and you just want to get it done, please feel free to go ahead and start reading it if you know you have the time to. All I ask is that as you read, that you go to week 2 where it says preview, so that you can read for a purpose. Now, the novel's like 500 pages, which is very intimidating, but if you're reading for a purpose, it goes faster. So you're not reading to memorize it, to take 200 question test. You're reading it to write an essay and learn. So that's a different kind of reading. That's a faster kind of reading. So these are just some tips to help you out, because I respect you guys and respect your time. And just remember, again, this is 200 level class, and some of you guys aren't maybe comfortable yet with the workload and the demand of a 200 level class, but just stick with me. Email me, ask me questions. I'm here to help. All right. See you around.